asked to begin this ceremony with the flag salute. You'll notice that we have two police academies here today. We have our regular police academy, Class 159, that was represented with the color guard. And we have our specialized investigative basic course academy with us today also. Again, let me welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful event. It is now my responsibility and very significant honor to introduce our next person who is going to give you the official welcome, the most recent addition to our executive management staff here at Golden West College. And I got to tell you, as one dean, I'm really excited. This guy's going a million miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your warm welcome to our new president, Tim McGrath.
Good afternoon. Before we start, I want you to take a minute and look around at the pillars. Each one of the pillars represent lives that have made commitments to Golden West College, some in their service, some in their community work, some in the funds that they have donated to the college, but each one of those represents a life, a family, and a commitment. And this college not only has benefited from that, but we're honored that you would be here as we take a look at the next group that's going to join that honored group. One of my first days here, the pillar right here in the back, I was walking out and was meeting people, and there was a grandfather that came, and I knew he was a swimmer because his hair was green from being in the pool. He still had his swimsuits on and his flip-flops, and his granddaughter was with him, and he had bought some ice cream for her, and so he was bringing her to Golden West College for one reason. His plaque is up on the wall, and he wanted her to see that he was part of the campus. It was important to him that she knew that he had deep roots here, and his expectation as a grandfather is that she would go to college, but more importantly, that she would see another side besides the guy in the pool that did tricks with her, that he had a place in this community as well in this college. And so the people that will be honored today, someday they'll bring their grandkids. They'll celebrate the honor of being part of this campus. So thank you. Since 1991, Golden West College has embraced the Courtyard Honor Ceremony as a way to recognize outstanding alumni and donors. This year, we induct 3 Golden Society members, 1 Pillar of Support, and 3 Alumni Pillar of Achievements. Before we get to this ceremony, we also have some honored guests here that I would like to recognize. From the city of Huntington Beach, Mayor Mike Posey. And council members Patrick Brennan, Barbara Douglas, and Billy O'Connell. From the city of Westminster, Mayor Tree-Taw, Council Member Kim Lee Ho, and Westminster School District Trustee Francis Wynn. From the Coast Community College District, Chancellor Dr. John Weisfenning, Vice Chancellor Marco Baeza, and Trustees Mary Hornbuckle and Dr. Lorraine Prinsky. And representing Senator Janet Wynn's office, Mr. Philip Smith. And if there's any other city officials present, please stand so that we can recognize you. And finally, I'd like to thank you for your support and attendance from the Foundation faculty, staff, patrons, student clubs of Golden West College. Your time is valued, and we appreciate that, so thank you. Please join me in welcoming Michael Grant from the Golden West Foundation Board of Directors as the Master of Ceremony. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tim. On behalf of the Golden West College Foundation Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you all for attending the 2018 Courtyard of Honor. It is also my distinct privilege to take part in celebrating our alumni and our donors today. Whether support is large or small, given in the form of time or dollars, Golden West College is grateful to all of our donors. This afternoon, we are excited to recognize 3 Golden Society donors. Our Golden Society represents the cumulative philanthropic gifts ranging from $10,000 up to $25,000. We want each of you to know your support is invaluable and very much appreciated. As I read off each name, I will ask the Golden Society donors to please come forward and accept their certificate and take a photo. First off, I'd like to invite up Golden West College Acting Vice President Alan Gasparian and his wife Patty. And along with that, we have certificates of recognition from Senator Wynn's office and from our mayor at the city of Huntington Beach. Yes. Okay, next we have Coast Community College District Trustee Mary Hornbuckle and her late husband Jerry. We're going to figure this out. Thank you very much, Mary. And finally, Red Oak Investments. Okay. Now we are going to move on to our new Pillar of Support. Pillars of Support are awarded to individuals, groups, and businesses whose donations have reached $25,000 to $99,000. This year we are excited to announce Huntington Beach Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you name it, they're selling it, as this year's Pillar of Support. Here to accept the award is Patty Holohan.
Good afternoon. My name is Patty Holohan, and I am the Director of Community Relations for Huntington Beach, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. That's okay. Yeah. It's the alphabet, CDJR. It's really easy to remember once you get it. So, it's an exceptional honor for HB Jeep to be recognized with this pillar. As a member of this community, Golden West College serves as a beacon for success of not only our city, but for those living in our surrounding communities. Pete Shaver, owner of Huntington Beach Jeep, felt a responsibility to give back to an institution that significantly makes an impact on our society. Education is the foundation which strengthens our community, and we are immensely proud to support Golden West College. With our contribution from the gala, I hope the students, faculty, and staff of Golden West College will continue to receive advanced education to better their lives and the lives of our community. Mr. Shaver extends his deepest apologies for not being able to be here today. We are happy to be able to have been a part of this special recognition ceremony. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving along. To be considered as a candidate for the Alumni Pillar of Achievement, an individual must have completed 30 units at Golden West College and attended notable achievement and recognition in their field of endeavor. This year, we honor 3 of Golden West College's best. Our first alumni honoree from the city of Orange is Chief of Police Tom Kessler. Here to introduce Chief Kessler is Chief Ron Lowenberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to note this, that not only did they give an old, tired, retired police chief the mic once, they've given it to me twice. There's a risk you take when you do that. I've noticed a couple of people in the audience that deserve to be introduced that have yet to be introduced. And I have no skin in this game because I'm no longer a police chief, but I see 2 people in the audience that I had the honor and privilege of working with when I did serve as 13 years as the police chief in this community, which was a highlight of my professional career. And that's Dr. Ralph Bauer and Shirley Detloff. They were kind enough to indulge my service as police chief, so thank you for that. We did a lot of good work. Thank you. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the first of 3 Pillar of Achievement honorees. Chief Tom Kessler first entered his career in law enforcement with the Orange Police Department in 1986. Soon after, graduated from the Golden West College Police Academy. As has happened on more than 38 occasions, a young man or woman that has graduated from our academy has elevated the level of police chief. No other institution in the state of California, and as far as I know, probably the nation, has that distinction. After working a variety of assignments from patrol to detectives, Chief Kessler was promoted to the rank of sergeant. Again, one of his significant achievements was working on a task force, and their responsibility was to dismantle clandestine methamphetamine labs here in Orange County and surrounding areas. In 2006, he was promoted to lieutenant, and in that assignment he had watch commander, traffic bureau commander, and the responsibility of coordinating police services for all the major events within the city of Orange. And if any of you have ever attended any of the events in the city of Orange, including the Memorial Day or weekend festivities, you know what a task that was. Chief Kessler returned to administration, leading personnel and training, records, crime prevention, and homeland security. Tom continued to rise up through the ranks and was promoted to captain in 2012, where he served in all the divisions of the department. There's three: field services, investigative services, and administrative services. And the folks in Orange recognized this young man's talents and promoted him to chief on April 15th, 2016. He has led the department since that time. He is considered in this county, and I've had the privilege of serving with the Orange County Chiefs and Sheriffs Association for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of chiefs come and go. And Tom Kessler is one of the good guys. And in fact, he's so supportive of our programs here at Golden West College that could I have the recruits from Orange PD please stand and give your chief a salute, please. Thank you. Tom is also a member of the Golden West College Regional Criminal Justice Training Executive Advisory Board. Has been stellar in giving us advice on curriculum and programs that are presently in place and new programs to be forthcoming. And Tom, if you would join me here at the podium, I'd like to demonstrate something that is clear to some of us in this business. As you can see, Tom has all the prerequisites to be a successful chief: little or no hair, a large schnoz,
It's not that big.
and a very healthy ego. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Kessler.
Well, good afternoon to family, friends, dignitaries, co-workers. Thank you for coming here. I'd like to thank the Golden West Foundation, Tim McGrath, the president of the Golden West College, Chief Ron Lowenberg, and semi-retired, I don't know if he knows what that word is, of the Orange Police Department, Captain Steve Ames. I am truly humbled to be standing here. Thank you. Over 32 years ago, I graduated from the Police Academy, filled with knowledge and training to rid the city of Orange of crime. After about a few minutes in the field training program, I realized that I had learned the foundation and fundamentals to be a police officer, but I knew very little about the job. Fortunately for me, I'm a relatively quick learner, and I have a lot of people who help guide me along the way. This process repeated itself throughout my career and continues today. As I stated, I'm humbled and honored to be here, but my presence today is a result of a group effort. Friends and co-workers who throughout the years provided me with sage advice and pushed me forward, while some held me back and slowed me down. And today, those are my executive staff. I'm the luckiest chief to have such a talented group of men and women, including my executive assistant, who could write the book on integrity, ethics, selflessness, and commitment. I do have to mention there is a little bit of a divide in my executive staff, as two of my captains went to the Sheriff's Academy, and then myself and one other captain went to Golden West. Even though we went to different academies, all of us are staunch supporters of the Golden West Criminal Justice Training Center. Orange PD has had a long relationship with the Police Academy, which began in the late 70s when Steve Ames was hired as a recruit training officer. In fact, Steve was one of my RTOs. I remember some things very vividly about those days, others I've chosen to forget. However, throughout the years, the presence of Orange PD personnel on staff here has grown. In fact, I believe right now we have the largest commitment of officers on staff. And that's a testament to our commitment to the academy and what a great job they do. We consider the Orange Police Department to be part of the fabric of the Criminal Justice Training Center. And that's the basis for our unwavering commitment. That's why we continue to send recruits here and current employees for advanced officer training, and we will continue to do so. As I wrote this, I didn't know that the recruits were going to be here, so I'm going to insert a little tangent. One of the things I used to say is, I'd rather be lucky than good. But an interesting phenomena happened. I figured that the harder I worked, the luckier I got. So just remember, hard work can do a lot for you. In closing, thank you for this honor, and I accept it on behalf of the men and women of the Orange Police Department. Thank you.
And moving along, our next alumni honoree, I'm proud to say has been a friend of mine since the 4th grade. He's also no stranger to this city and has devoted his life to making our town a better place. However, here to introduce him is Diane Dwyer from the Assistance League of Huntington Beach to introduce Matt Liffering.
Good afternoon. I'm so pleased to be here to help celebrate the achievements of those being honored today, especially the achievements of Matt Liffering. I've known Matt since 2012 when I took over marketing communications. During that time, he has been instrumental in taking Assistance League from the best kept secret to we're no longer a secret by telling our story, shining the light on us, and making the community aware of what we do. But it's not just about Assistance League. It's about all the other organizations that Matt has made such a difference to by telling their story, shining the light on them, and making the community aware of all the good that these organizations do. Organizations such as Kiwanis, Lions, Boys and Girls Club, Surf City Rotary, Seroptimus, Huntington Beach Youth Shelter, Bolsa Chica Conservancy, Seroptimus, Special Olympics, Golden West College Foundation, the City of Huntington Beach and its amazing police and firemen, the Downtown Business Improvement District, Chamber of Commerce, Golden West College patrons, and so many more. We just can't name them all. But it's not just about telling the story. If you've attended events such as Golden West College Gala, Chefs for Scholarships, Treasures by the Sea, Miracle on Main Street, Lida Lida Love, Chili at the Beach, or our famous 4th of July parade, you've seen Matt as Master of Ceremonies, a judge, and an announcer. Because of Matt's Surf City Highlights program and the hundreds of videos he's produced, we are blessed to have an incredible visual history of our city. Without a doubt, Matt is one of the most generous, dedicated, and committed members of our community. I can't imagine Huntington Beach without him. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Matt Liffering.
Good afternoon. Wow. I was just thinking that this is trippy right here. This is funny. A moment of Zen. But I was just thinking, it's been such a great pleasure videotaping and editing most of you here today. So on behalf of, thank you, Mayor Posey, City Council people, Pat Brendan, Barbara Delglaze, Jill Hardy, introduced earlier, and our city clerk, Robin Stanislaw, thank you for coming. Former mayors, we have with us Bauer, Ralph Bauer, Norma Gibbs, our First Lady of Huntington Beach right here, ladies and gentlemen, Norma Gibbs. Jim Silva, Shirley Detloff, and I like to also, they were kind of missed earlier, I like to say hello to Fountain Valley's former mayor and city councilman Larry Crandall and Sandra Crandall from the school district of Fountain Valley right there. So the Golden West College patrons, the foundation, President McGrath, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here today. It's certainly an experience to recall that it was here. It was because of this college, this institution that gave me the early opportunity to have that visibility and early training that was seen that I was someone that could develop. So interesting that all of us, how we all connect. From a senior of Marina High School, and my theater instructor, Stephen Schwartz. Steve Schwartz is right there today. Steve, hi. And it goes back to then, and our senior musical, which we didn't have a musical, we had a 4-hour variety show at the auditorium, and I was the MC, I was the student producer, and he said, Matt, you got to give an announcement, you got to give a monologue. And I don't know what those cameras are out there. What are those cameras? Well, that's something called cable TV. Really? Cable TV. Interesting. Okay, 1981, and I give this monologue, and I had no idea what to say. And at the time, it was kind of disingenuous about the building of Ocean View High School at the time, and because it divided friends like Michael Grant and I, because Ohio was a dividing line between us. So we went off our separate ways. I went to Marina, Michael went to Ocean View, and we had kind of a rivalry between Ocean View and Marina, and speech and debate and theater and so forth. So I said a few things, and I became the first person to be edited on cable TV. Yep. And so Stephen, who himself was an instructor here, he acted here, he did a lot of work here on campus. He said in my senior year, you know, they're holding a brand new program at Golden West College. They're producing a show called, a program called the Golden West College Acting Company and Conservancy. You should audition. So I auditioned, and I got in, and it was really fantastic. It was just concentrating on theater and live performance. But part of my background, along with Steve, was improvisational humor, comedy, stand-up comedy. But there was a club on campus called Soapbox Saturday Night. So the Soapbox Saturday Night was over, I think, in health sciences, and they would have these shows every Saturday night, kind of like Saturday Night Live. And it kind of waned, and they graduated, and they went on. But we said, you know what, let's start this again. So there was a group of people that had to initiate the club, and we called it Soapbox Variety. And said, let's do this again, let's bring this back. And it launched some pretty cool careers back in the day of people like Steve Odekirk, who went on to Jim Carrey. He worked with Jim Carrey, had a great career. There were other comedians like Jerry Minor, and he still performs today. They were in this group. So I said, let's bring those guys back. And I remember when I was in high school, my senior year, a thing called cable TV was there. Maybe we could ask them to come out. So I went to the big corporate offices, which were at the time 2 suites on Heil Avenue, and I said, hey, we're doing this thing over here at Golden West College, come on out. And so they came out and saw what we were doing, and we produced the show, and it ran, and the producer at the time, John Maisler, saw what I was doing, and at the time, John was part of the Dickinson Pacific Cable Systems that then became Rogers Cable Systems. And he said, you know what? We're doing this new weekly show called Local Cable Update. You want to be part of it? And I said, sure. So at that point, in June of 1982, the community of Huntington Beach and cities became a new focal point. You had a new access. You had a new view of the people, places, and things in your community through this new thing called cable TV. And so I was a segment producer, and I interviewed people, And local cable update, LCU, ran for over 10 years. It was a weekly show, and then it became a monthly show. And I became a producer. I was the anchor, co-host, and there were other people that graced our set for a few years, including Karen Sharp from Coast 103.5. She's done pretty good. So we're happy for Karen. And so she was with us for a while until I got a phone call from the public information officer, Bill Reed, from the city of Huntington Beach. Okay, now this was 3 PIOs ago from my current work wife, Julie Toledo, right over here. And he called up, Julie Toledo, everybody. So long story short, he said, hey, we are looking to hire you to interview elected officials or candidates running for public office. Would you like to do it? I said, sure. So that started early on, and I became friends with some great iconic people, the Jim Silvas of our time and so forth. And later I would actually work for Jim Silva as an executive assistant at the county level, and I produced his TV show called The Silva Update. So it all somehow comes back and to education, and it comes back to community. From that, a show called Made in Huntington Beach came out, and that was an idea from Kathy Green, actually. So Kathy Green had this idea about, hey, Matt can go around and shoot all these events, and I can do it. And the first one was Nohas Chiroptimus, if you remember that. And Channel 3 was kind of down for a while, and I shot your award ceremony, and I came back with this DVD, and I said at the time, I said, here, just play it. You know, you're doing nothing, just play this. And that's what started Surf City Highlights. It's been on over 11 and a half years now. And now we have the internet, and now it's all about getting that word out, messaging, and so forth and so on. But it's been a trip. So there was Made in Huntington Beach, there was Surf City Highlights, and but it was just all connected back to Golden West College, because I remember while doing a lot of that early on, I was also the house manager, and I was selling ads for the theater program, the theater here on campus. And because of that, I sold ads in the community so we can make money to pay for the program. And I met a wonderful lady over 30 years ago, Pat Rogers. Where's Pat Rogers? There's Pat Rogers right there. She was representing an advertising agency and working at Huntington Center as the marketing director at Rusty Scupper. Do you remember that? And so I met Pat Rogers, and hence, 35 years later, tonight we're going to be shooting video at 5th and PCH, which you're now the marketing director of, and it just comes full circle, and that's really wonderful. Also, Billy O'Connell's here. I didn't see Billy. Hi, Billy. City Councilman Billy O'Connell. But so with that, I met Pat Rogers. Great relationship. I was able to MC the community festival here on the quad here for many, many years. And Bruce Williams at the time said, hey, they're looking for announcers for the Huntington Beach 4th of July parade. Why don't you go do that? So I went down, and I was 19 years old, and today I'm a little bit older, and I've been doing that religiously for a very long time, and it's a great association, and we're something we're very proud of. I was able to be a co-host with Ed Arnold, one of my mentors, Ed Arnold, for the television broadcast for a couple times. And Carol Ann Wall was my buddy on the street. And Cynthia Vernal was last year from the Kiwanis. And the year before that was Alyssa Welfinger, who became Miss Huntington Beach, right? And we just had a brand new queen the other night. So great. One of my highlights I enjoyed the most was videotaping the Criminal Justice Training Center and their new simulator. Also, the scholarship ceremonies where Assistance League donates thousands and thousands of dollars is amazing. Golden West College Foundation galas, which I emceed, I believe, last year. Collaboration between the college and the Rotary Club. It's a great science showtime where some of these classrooms have become little science labs, and they go around and teach these kids all about science. It's a wonderful program. And, of course, the very recent Chess for Scholarships. So it's been a wonderful relationship back to center, and how it's all connected in the city of Huntington Beach. So for that, I'm very grateful for receiving this pillar. And I thank for everyone coming out today. I really appreciate it. It's a memory for a lifetime. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Our final alumni honoree is Laura Saldaraga. Please join me in welcoming retired professor and honored donor, Dr. Carol Grimes.
I hope I can read this with the sun shining in my face here. I met Laura in 2001 when she arrived on campus, had been in the United States only 3 years and learned almost all of her English in that time. She took my preparatory chemistry course and excelled. She then proceeded to bulldoze her way through general chemistry semester 1, general chemistry semester 2, organic chemistry semester 1, excelling in all of those, not to mention calculus and physics and some of those other adjuncts. And she worked in the stockroom, preparing solutions, setting up labs, handing out things to students. It's a pretty responsible job. And a lot of students do that job before they leave our department. But what was unique about Laura was the next semester. While she was taking second semester organic chemistry, or just before she started there, our stockroom manager, the full-time person who supervised setting up labs for 7 different classes every week, went out on an extended medical leave. And guess who took over running the stockroom? Laura. She did that full-time job all semester, including learning how to order the chemicals and things we needed for labs, which in the system we had at that time was extremely archaic and convoluted. I'm sure there must have been a lot of swearing at home in the evenings when she was doing that. And kept our stockroom running smoothly for the hundreds of students that we processed through the department every semester. When she graduated, that was the semester that convinced us that one day Laura would have her face on the alumni pillar, because it was an outstanding achievement to maintain her full set of classes while she ran the stockroom. After that, she graduated from UC San Diego. She finished her PhD at UCLA in 2014, but she wasn't in the lab all the time. She was busy getting out there doing other stuff. She was active in teaching assistant, a peers program, program facilitator, research projects, an internship in Buenos Aires, doing outreach like judging science fairs and helping with Science Olympiad. And in 2012, the American Chemical Society Education Committee invited her to come and be the speaker at our high school awards dinner. We usually invited professors or people from industry. She was such a rousing success that we have continued to invite graduate students to speak at that event ever since. Well, she came back to Golden West and taught here for a year, and then we were very sad and very glad that she got a full-time position at El Camino College when we didn't have one to offer her. because we lost her spark in the department. She's done such an outstanding job at El Camino that she will receive tenure already this year. She has already received an outstanding teaching award at that school, and you can see why it is my great pleasure and privilege to introduce our outstanding alumna from the chemistry department, Dr. Laura Saldarriaga Lopez.
Well, good afternoon. Okay. I am almost speechless right now from all the things that Dr. Grimes just said about me. I don't think I ever realized I did that many things. But anyways, apparently I did. Did you know that she was my first chemistry teacher in the United States? She is basically the reason why I am where I am today. It was due to her motivation during the class that I decided, you know what? I want to become her one day. I want to do her job. But anyways, here I am. So thank you for that very nice introduction, Dr. Grimes. I have a very tight relationship with Golden West, okay? Especially with the chemistry department, as you heard previously. So today, I will tell you just a little teeny tiny bit of my story while I was a student here. And granted, I spent 4 years of my life on this campus. Okay? I had taken several chemistry and biology classes here at Golden West when my friend and I decided that we needed to find a job because we needed to get some sort of experience. And since both of us were chemistry majors at that time, we decided to reach out to the biology and the chemistry department. And so we did. I remember going to talk to Candace Brenner, who is here, and Holly, thank you. And we said to them, look, we want a job. Do you have anything to offer us? And so she said, sure, I can give you 2 hours a week. You have to clean the cages of the animals. You have no idea what kind of job that was. We had 2 very messy guinea pigs, okay? Then we had 2 iguanas. I remember their names, Ingrid and Guanabana. They were a challenge to work with. And then there was this one parrot who every time he flew out of that cage, we'd run away because he was just mean. So anyhow, we worked at the biology department 2 hours a week until I left Golden West. Then we also went to the chemistry stockroom and asked if they had a job for us. And at that time, Kathy Prince was the manager of the stockroom, and she said, no, I'm sorry, we don't have a position for you. So we decided to volunteer. No problem. The following semester, they did need a person, and I got hired at the chemistry stockroom. So I started working at the chemistry stockroom, preparing the solutions, setting up the labs, and all of this. Okay. While in the chemistry department, in fact, as Dr. Grimes said, my last semester here, my boss got very sick, and she could not work that spring. So I remember receiving a call from the division office asking me if I could work in the chemistry stockroom 30 hours a week. But I said, I'm a student here. I'm only allowed to work 19 hours a week. How do you want me to work 30 hours a week? You also have to remember that I was taking 16 units that semester. And I said, that's a very heavy load. 30 hours a week, 16 units, I don't think that's going to work so well. Anyways, with the help of all the chemistry faculty and the support of the dean of the division that semester, I got permission to work 30 hours a week and take my 16 units. So there I went, you know, put a challenge in front of you and you will rise up to that challenge. And so I did. All of my professors made sure to, in one way or another, let me know that they appreciated what I did. Some would share their food with me. I had a professor who would often bring lunch, and he would be like, Laura, have you eaten lunch? And I'd be like, not yet. He's like, here, have some. Okay. And that was really nice. The professors at the end of the semester would take me out to lunch or dinner, gave me I remember getting a mug from Golden West College, which I still have. I treasure that like nothing else. Okay. And it was back then that as a student, I realized that my professors were normal people. And guess what? I wanted to become one of those people. Golden West really, really made an impact on my life. But just so that you don't get disappointed, chemistry wasn't all my life at Golden West. I was also part of the community here. I belonged to several student clubs, ILSA, which is the Independent Latino Student Association. I was part of AGS, Alpha Gamma Sigma Honor Society. For a brief period of time, I was in the pharmacy club, and I was the secretary of the pharmacy club. And then finally, I was part of student government. So, you know, I had my plate full at that time. As a member of ILSA, the Independent Latino Student Association, I knew I could go into the office anytime I wanted to take a break. And so those resources at Golden West offered me an escape to my classes. Okay? I made great friends there, some of whom I still keep in contact with today. Also, being part of the student government was an eye-opening experience. I knew right then and there that I did not want to go into politics. I also learned that I needed to be involved in order to make a difference. And so to today, I am being involved in that. Besides the student clubs, I also worked in the tutoring center, helping students with their chemistry and Spanish classes. And back in those days, the tutoring center used to give us a beeper. Can you imagine how long ago was that? A beeper, where you just get a little text message that said, come to the tutoring center now. Anyways, after I left Golden West, the support was still there. I was able to obtain a whole bunch of scholarships as I moved to UC San Diego to get my bachelor's in science. I received 3 substantial scholarships that really eased my financial burden while at UC San Diego. And so I always felt like Golden West was part of my life because it never went away. Then I went to UCLA, and I kept in touch with Dr. Grimes, with Dr. Winter, with Dr. Williams, every single person at the chemistry department, including Dr. Speakman, who is not able to be here today. So that support was, again, there after many, many, many years. Once I graduated from UCLA, I came back to Golden West. No more than to teach the same lab and the same classes that I had taken so many years ago. So again, it's a full circle. You get something, you come back to give it. In summary, all I want to say is I am extremely thankful to everybody here at Golden West College, because without any of them, I would not be standing where I am today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for this pillar of support.
Okay. And let's have one more round of applause for all of our honorees today. Thank you. Before I begin my final remarks, I would just like to acknowledge one more mayor who is here today, and that is our city's first woman mayor, Norma Gibbs. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate that. So on behalf of President Tim McGrath and the Foundation Board of Directors, I would like to thank each and every one of you for attending today's ceremony. And I would like to also invite you to we have food. I don't know where it is. Oh, right around the corner. But as we prepare to close, I just want to thank you all once again for attending. And let's eat. There you go.